Now, there are ways that some of this stuff kind of happens. What I'm about to show y'all, and it's like, we got to try to connect the dots, and people do these loose ways of connecting these entities to others. But what I'm about to show you is just verifiable proof, because the company itself that is in talks are specifically mentioning what it is they're doing. And it's so important that you understand this, because when I can't speak for these guys, definitely milquetoast conservatives who mentioned the culture war. I can't speak to what they're talking about. I can speak to what I mention when I say that, having the ideas, for example, is not good enough. It's great that we have the ideas. Those of us that value liberty, we have ideas, the best ideas on our side. However, the enemy, or rather the enemies of liberty, that is, they're not convinced by that. Considering that they lead with emotion, and the people that they convinced have led with emotion. So your best ticket in order to influence the next generation of people is not just going to be by getting in a bunch of arguments with them and destroying their arguments. Again, you're dealing with sometimes stupid emotional people. So they're irrational. So just showing them reason isn't going to be good enough. But this is how the left wins. This is how they won. This is more proof of it in terms of what they value. Kamala Harris the other day, I'm not going to show that video. It might have been this morning, was talking about inflation, and you could tell she had no idea what she's talking about. That chick is a brainlet. She's vice president, and maybe a diversity hire, but nonetheless vice president. So you don't have to be the smartest person in the room to have some sort of influence, especially power. But right here, this is like they explicitly stated this last week. Bound in the Comments brought it up, and I'm going straight to the press release. DC Comics, right? DC Comics is, why am I off to the? I kind of like it, like off to the. Man, I need to kind of get centered. Let me get centered. Okay. Anyway, but they specifically mention what it is they're doing. Warner Media in DC collaborates with Biden-Harris administration. Like, it's not even, the ad council, or we got paid by the federal government to do something, and it kind of just happened, right? You see it, and, they've done stupid stuff in the past. They got back, like, Batman with a vaccination Band-Aid or some shit. Like, they did that. But this, they're explicitly stating it. They're like, this is telling you right off the rip, okay? Right off the rip. Warner Media and DC Comics, who owns it, Warner Media the other way around, actually, is collaborating with the administration that fucking hates you, okay? And then, of course, it's over, Modelo virus and vaccine shilling. There's not surprise there. But they straight up say it. DC's iconic superheroes, including Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and more, will be supporting childhood COVID-19 vaccination as part of an ongoing collaboration between Warner Media and Biden-Harris administration. Now, you need to understand what that collaboration means. They're not doing the shit out of the kindness of their hearts, or because they think this is the best thing that needs to happen. Now, I've already told you my positions on these guys lining up to try to vaccinate youngsters is very fucking weird. But think about that. I'm going to explain what's happening here. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund DC Comics. That's just simple and plain. It's no other way to put it. They are paid to shield for the vac. They did the mask stuff as well, but they're doing it with the vaccination. That's just simply what this is. Okay? DC Comics is being paid by money that is not theirs. It was stolen from via taxation and is now being rerouted to them, which is why they're working with this administration. It's not because, we care so much about the children, we want to get them vaccinated because they are, gonna die from COVID, which again, you're talking about the least vulnerable population anyway, and a population that is really unlikely to be hospitalized. And it's very rare for them to be in that instance, but they don't care. It's all about chilling for this vaccination. So what does this mean? Let's see if they say anything. And this is a continued sort of relationship that they're having. I don't wonder why. Warner Media and DC collaborates with the Biden-Harris administration and Children's Hospital Association to create fun, comforting COVID-19 vaccine site. The First Lady of the United States was joined by Wonder Woman and Superman at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. Custom DC designed posters to theme the hospitals along with DC. This is like leading like promising a child candy and shit in a like creepy van. That's basically what they're doing. This is fucking weird, man. DC superhero branded adhesive bandages and coloring activity books for children to take home after receiving the COVID-19 vaccinations. DC's iconic superheroes, as mentioned, they got Batman, Superman, and they're going to support this administration that they specifically and explicitly state. DC superheroes have been symbols of hope, strength, and wonder to children for all ages for 80 years. I don't disagree with that. Warner Media Global Brands and Experiences President Pam Lyford, we are truly honored to be supporting the real-life heroic work, here we go again, at the children's hospitals to promote childhood vaccinations against COVID-19. Children ages 5 to 12 who received the COVID-19 vaccination at a children's hospital clinic in November and December will see specifically created DC superhero themed posters and receive DC branded, again, bandages. Bending coloring and activity books as giveaways. So they're basically going to try to butter it up by having their heroes and all of their branding around to comfort your child that you're, for whatever reason, going to drop off at an age of 5 years old to get a vaccination for something that they're going to, for the most part, not have any problems in the event that they catch it. They're going to survive. It's almost, again, you're talking about over a 99% rate, but who cares who's keeping up with numbers or anything. And again, they mentioned, and they're bragging about this shit. They bragged about working with Dr. Jill Biden. Is she a real doctor? I think she is. But Dr. Jill Biden, I don't know. Warner Media previously worked with Biden-Harris administration, including the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and Centers for the Disease. So they worked with both the HHS as well as the CDC on multiple COVID-19 awareness education campaigns since the onset of the pandemic. Warner Media initially created the Mask Up America stuff. I talked about that with the Ad Council to support the CDC guidelines about wearing masks. What is most important from all of this? Yeah, I can sit up here and brag on them for this dumbass policy or whatever it is that they're sort of doing here. I could do that. I've already done that, though. I've given you the data, and I've shown you why this makes no sense. And you can argue that we're entering demonic territory here because they're trying to line up to vaccinate these children who are at a very, very low risk in terms of catching it and being hospitalized or worse, dying. But the story to take from this is exactly what I have been expressing to you guys. We have to realize these brands have failed, okay? They're gone. If you want to get some semblance of this shit right here, you might as well just get back issues. Don't even subsidize them by getting trade paperbacks, which are a collection of old shit. They could sell that, and that lines their pockets up right now. If you want any of this shit, you might as well just read the back issues. Or, you know me, I'm coming out with my own comic book company. Go support us. I'm not subsidized by the state. Now, I could argue that at least with the comic books, they ain't been putting shit out that's been profitable anyway. But nonetheless, the more important thing to hear is this is why these types, or why the left care so much about this sort of instance. It's because they could use this as a means to, I don't even want to say convince, more of a coercive tactic to move the culture. Because they have control of it, right? They didn't just value sitting there and playing politics. It's more of they value the culture. So this is why you can't turn your head without something from an entertainment perspective being controlled by leftists. And they they have no problems now admitting that's exactly what it is that they are. That's who they're appealing to. That's who controls their entity, and they're pumping out propaganda, and in some cases acting as the propaganda wing of the state. Or worse, they're doing that and getting paid for the shit. They're getting paid for it. So every time you get googly-eyed when you see a Spider-Man fucking trailer, and you get nostalgia baited or something like that, you just need to understand the companies. Yeah, I know that's talking about Marvel. Marvel's done the same thing, right? You're talking about companies that are working with the authoritarian left. They're working with the authoritarian left, and they're using that funding to pump this garbage out. That's something that you need to keep in mind when you are you get googly. Oh, new Batman trailer. Let's keep it DC. New Batman trailer. Oh my God, this may be actually decent, and you get all googly eyed and amped up and shit, and they bait you into that, and all they do is use the money that you have given them to pump out some old horse shit, including running your characters that you know and love into the ground. That's another thing. We ain't even talking about that right now. We talking about the leftism, the authoritarian leftism that they're putting out there. I would say, don't ever forget this. This video ain't going nowhere. You're going to catch it. If YouTube ever took down my channel, you still can catch it over at Odyssey. My entire catalog is back there. So if you want to check it out, go check it out. But don't forget, because at some point the pendulum will swing. We're going to win. I told y'all we're going to win. It may have to get worse before it gets better, but we're going to win. Do not let these companies try to get ahead of that by claiming they were never about this shit, or trying to pretend to play on the other side because it's no longer politically expedient or monetarily expedient. And so they pretend, I'm not with this anymore. No, we're not forgetting about you. I say these guys need to be starved of the money that they have been basically stealing from American citizens by way of, using the ad council and all of that. But not just that, the propaganda that they've been putting out over the last years has just been repulsive and I think repugnant rather. And I think that people should pay attention to that and never forget. Just don't forget. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.